Hi guys, welcome to Learning Electronics Repair. I have a Lenovo laptop here, Yoga, for repair. Apparently, this is actually under warranty, but the agent or distributor or whoever for Lenovo in the Canary Islands on Tenerife says that they will not honour the warranty on it for some reason. I don't know exactly the ins and outs. A friend of mine brought this in rather than the original owner. I'm guessing it's somebody he's dealing with, and he asked me if I could fix it. I did mention, well, if there is a warranty, then in opening up the laptop, I'm going to most likely end that warranty anyway, but he said, well, they won't do it, so basically do what I like. Okay, so Intel Evo i5, Lenovo. And this is completely dead, batteries flat at least. And this is the power supply that came with it, Lenovo power supply, 65 watt. This looks like a PD type power supply to me. He says he thinks some water or liquids got in this, which is probably why they won't accept the warranty. So this is the end of the connector that goes into the USB-C. Let's just look under the microscope at that. Okay, so we can clearly see some corrosion on this. So I think the first thing I'll do is connect the power supply to my USB analyzer, and if it powers up, connect it to the laptop, and let's see if this is even drawing any power or if there's a short or something like that. These things are invaluable, by the way, guys. This was the Finersi FMB58. I reviewed this last year. I never realised I needed one of these until I reviewed it, and now, to be quite honest, it's become pretty much invaluable. So if you're doing laptop repair, get one of these. In fact, the way things are going, almost everything's going to be, in fact, everything in the EU will be USB-C by the end of this year, just under the law, yeah. So I've attached the power supply to here. I can take it out from here with a USB-C male-to-male cable and connect the laptop. But first of all, let's just connect the power supply and see what happens. And the answer is nothing happens. So the power supply is dead. That's the first thing we can say. Nothing. I'll get a known good power supply, then let's see if the laptop is also dead. Okay, so I have a known good power supply. This is a 100 watt power supply. Let's see, so plug that in. Yeah, and it lights up. So the other one is definitely faulty. I can now connect from here to the laptop, and it should switch to 19 volts if the laptop's working. Okay, we'll put this other way up so we can see it. Okay, power in is here, and nothing happens. Okay, this is still on 5. Doesn't make any difference, doesn't do anything. Sure, this is the power in. Yep. So nothing happens. I'll try switching the laptop on, but I would expect this to automatically go to 19, 20 volts and the battery to charge anyway. We can see it is actually drawing a little bit of power, so it's not exactly doing nothing. Okay, you can see the laptop is drawing a residual amount of power, just a small amount. Okay, switch it on. Again, nothing happens. So it's drawing about 15 milliamps. That's neither here nor there really, but we do know something is connected inside here. Okay, let's get the back off and see if we can figure out what's happening, and maybe we'll see some visible damage anyway. For those of you who are interested, that's the actual model of this, by the way. This is from, well, last year. It's under warranty, as she said, but it won't honour the warranty. 20 volts. So we can see the power. Obviously, that's the maximum power. Probably doesn't draw that much, or at least not very often. So that's the actual laptop we have here. It's quite a new one. Okay, it's open. Another thing, actually, the guy who brought me this in said, so the owner of this apparently is a Russian lady who is a well-known author, apparently. I didn't have the name, but it belongs to some author. Russian, but lives in the Canary Islands, and why not? And if I can't repair this, he asked if I could get the hard drive out of this so that they can get the data off it. Now, this is going to be some sort of SSD type thing, M2. Yeah, SSD connector, it says here. So this will be the drive. I'm guessing if we have to take this off to get the data out of it, I'll need to put into a suitable adapter, with it being such a new one. I'm not sure if we've got the right adapter, but anyway, that's something we'll come to if we need to. In the meantime, let's see if we can see any visible damage. So this is the power coming in here. Let's get it under the microscope again. So here is the power connector under this little metal cover, so we can't actually see the pins, but we can take that off. Yeah, just a couple of screws. Looks like it's some sort of reinforcement for the connectors, basically. And the power comes in here. Okay. This looks more like almost like an EEPROM chip, that number, I'm not sure. Possibly some sort of controller on the power input. I'd expect this to go as normal to some MOSFETs. So let's just get this metal thing off and let's see if we can spot anything obvious. Okay, so I've removed that, but I still can't see any of the actual connections coming in. I'm guessing they're probably on the other side of the board. So I think we'll have to take this motherboard out and then let's see if we can get any further. Maybe looking on the other side might tell us something, because I'm sure if liquid got in here, it got in from the top. I will just check the battery though. I'm expecting to find this is completely drained. Let's just see. So here to here. Yeah, the battery is completely drained. I don't know whether this continued working after whatever happened, so the power supply wasn't working, but yeah, that's got nothing in it from what I can see. 0 volts. I've taken the little motherboard out of the laptop, and on the other side, which is kind of like the upwards facing side, I was thinking I might find some sort of evidence of liquid, which is what the guy was saying, and there's obviously something happened to this. Yeah, but I don't see anything. Now, this is a bit interesting. I'm not particularly familiar with these new type laptops, by the way. And I think this raises quite a lot of questions to me. I can see that the power comes in here. Okay. This looks like some sort of protection diode to me against reverse polarity. 2 capacitors. If that's the case, this will be ground. So from here, yeah, you can hear it without me needing to get the multimeter in shot. I'm sure you can hear that. So that's ground. If this is power, I'll see 5 volts on here when I connect my charger. We can just check that this is a protection diode. So we know this end of it is ground. And if I put the positive to here, so this is reverse polarity. Look, I see a diode junction. So that's what that is doing. It's just there to protect against reverse polarity, although quite how you could get reverse polarity on the USB-C, I don't know. But anyway, that's what it does. So from here, to ground. Yeah, that's the 5 volts. That's the power coming in. Now, this thing that I said, oh, that number looks a bit like an EEPROM. First of all, it doesn't. We can see now this is actually 4256C2GL. I've looked this up and didn't find anything for that. This side of it looks like all these pins are connected together, which makes me think, oh, this is a MOSFET then. But if that side was all connected together, then you'd expect to find a gate somewhere, maybe there or there, and then 3 more connected together. And we don't have that, so we can have a quick look, but there's no power on that. Is this ground? I'll just disconnect the power a moment. Let's go to continuity. Yeah, this is ground. So all those pins are ground. So that's not wired kind of like a MOSFET you would expect. There's a bit of something in there, like some sort of corrosion. The reason I'm looking around this chip is because it looks sort of MOSFET-ish, although I'm sure it isn't, and it's near to the connector. Okay, so let's have a quick look. And there's an inductor here, but this looks to me like some sort of buck converter there, just guessing away again. Let's see what we can see in the way of voltages. So 3.4. 3.4. 3.4. Is that on this coil as well? No. We seem to have 3.4 everywhere here. Not on that one, but on 2 pins anyway. That could be like a 3.3 volt supply, I suppose, going to somewhere. So I'm kind of in like 2 minds with this, and some possibilities. One, that this effectively is in standby somehow. Okay. If I just switch the power off, connect the battery, which we know is flat. Okay, battery connected. Just get the analyzer again. So power on. So 5 volts coming from the power supply. It's not trying to charge the battery. Now, even if this wasn't switched on, I mean, this goes to the on-off switch, so it's disconnected at the moment. You would assume it was going to charge the battery if power's attached and the battery is drained and there's no voltage on the battery. So one train of thought I have is that this effectively is in standby, that 5 volts or the 3.4 could be called 3.3 is powering something on here, and whatever it's powering isn't doing anything really. The other thought is that the power supply, the original one, is not a PD power supply, although it sort of looks like one. I'll show you. So this is the actual power supply, the original one, which isn't working. Now, this looks like a PD power supply. It has the 5 volts, 9 volts, 15 volts, 20 volts. Okay, PD would also have 12 volts usually. Yeah, but it sort of looks like that is a PD power supply. But I'm wondering if this actually uses a different protocol. So when I connect my known good PD power supply, which is this one, that maybe the laptop can't control this effectively, so it can't set it to the 19 volts. And I'm just wondering if that is the case, but I'm not sure, in all honesty, how I would prove that. But on the other side of the coin, if I can't prove that, then anything else I do from here could just be a rabbit hole, because I don't know for certain that my PD power supply can actually power this laptop. If you see what I mean, maybe being Lenovo, they've done some different protocol, so you have to buy their power supplies. Now that, I would not put it past them, yeah. So, can we find out? I mean, I can look up the part number for the original power supply and see if there's any information. Let's try that. Well, I had a look, and it seems from what I'm reading that in actual fact you can use a PD charger. I mean, can I charge the laptop board? So can I charge it with another charger? Yes. Okay, so anything with a USB fast charge. So from what I'm reading here, I should be able to actually charge this with another charger. Yeah, supports power delivery. So it would seem that that likelihood is not likely. So let's have a look to see if we can find any corrosion on the other side of the board around these sockets. Okay, so here's the other side, and we can see now actually there's corrosion inside the socket. The PCB is okay, so we have this chip. Look, we can see here LVDS lines, yeah, the pairs of lines. Probably find something better to point with than that, but there's a pair there, there's another pair there, and it looks like we've got some vias, a pair there. So that's your LVDS lines going to USB-C. There's some sort of other signals. We know the power's on the other side, and the problem's in here. So I think we'll try to get it under the camera, get a better look down there, but I think we're going to have to change this socket, and we may have to change the plug on the original charger. I wonder if that's why I'm not getting any power out of the original one. Otherwise, I think it's change this and then either repair the original charger or just get another. I've balanced my microscope on the edge of the bench, which is why I'm sitting at a strange angle over here. But now you can clearly see what's wrong with this. Yeah, probably should have spotted that earlier, but you know, that's how it is. So we have power coming through, but the laptop can't change the voltage. I don't think I'm going to clean that. I'm going to have a go, but I honestly don't think I'm going to successfully clean that. I think it's much more likely I'm going to end up replacing this connector. Okay, so I got a USB-C lead, and I dipped the end into isopropyl and then repeatedly inserted and removed the connector. I did that several times. So it has improved this, but whether it's improved this enough to actually have it working, I'm not totally sure, but there's only one way to find out, yeah? And then if it does work, we'll have to decide what to do with this. I'm still really most likely tempted to change this connector, but if I don't have a connector, this might get it going for the moment. So let's see. Okay, so we'll attach this. I have the analyzer handy, so we'll know straight away, I think, whether this is actually gonna work or not. Let's see what the analyzer tells us. Well, it's still on 5 volts. I'll try attaching the battery at least. Okay, so that's attached. So I don't expect it to charge even though I don't have the on-off switch connected. Let's have a look. No, it's still on 5 volts and drawing about 15 milliamps. Well, I did actually buy a whole pack of these. You can see from AliExpress, just cost me a few euros. I envisaged the likelihood of needing these. I didn't have USB-C ones before, had various others. So, I mean, there's, what, 15 types in here, so hopefully one will be correct. Let's have a look. So, out of 15 different USB-C connectors, none of them fit this board. This is the closest one, but it's basically recessed too far in. You can see this has some wide pins here where these are all the same width, so that won't work. And none of the other ones would actually fit in the board, the mounting pins are either flat, sticking sideways, or there's two of them or whatever. So the guy who brought me this in is going to pop in a couple of minutes. He says he's got another box of 10 connectors, so let's see if any of his fit this. I've had a chat with the guy who brought this in to me. So one possibility we discussed was to actually swap over the two ports and put the good one here, which is the charger port. But because there's no other USB ports on this laptop at all, it wasn't really a feasible option to do that, so that's out. The other one is to get a replacement for this, but I did say this is likely to take a month or so from China. So he came up with a plan, and he said if we can use something like this and we can copy the contents from the hard drive, then the lady can carry on with her work. In the meantime, she has another laptop or computer, and she's happy to wait while we get the parts for this one. So that's all well and good. The thing is now I need to find the correct part. There is a number on this. You can see there's a number on there, 318H. I've searched for that, but it doesn't really help me at all. Maybe you know. But I had a look on AliExpress for Lenovo Yoga USB-C, and I found a couple of hits, and one of them might have what I'm looking for, but I'm not totally sure, so I will show you. So we have this Lenovo X1 second Yoga. I mean, I don't know, because that doesn't seem to apply to the part number on the laptop, but if I enter the part number on the laptop, it doesn't really give me anything. So there's a type A and a type B, you can see there. Okay, and they look like they're different here, but these have the correct number of pins and they're all the same width. But you notice there's 2 rows of pins in there. Also, this part where it's kind of like pushed inwards, that looks like the top of my connector. Type A, much the same. In fact, the marking on that maybe looks a little bit more similar to mine, but the number doesn't match. But you'll notice again, it has all separate pins. There are, what, 12 I think on here. Yeah, 12. And it has 2 rows of pins, so both of these have 2 rows of pins. They're only cheap, so I can order both. Why not? You know, if we're going to do it, let's have a couple of each or something. But I'd like to be a bit more certain, so I'm going to unsolder the corroded one now, and let's have a look to see if it actually does look like this underneath. I'm going to add some flux to the underside first. It looks like the legs, the pins, don't actually come all the way through the board, but if I get some leaded solder into here, that might help. I might be better with a preheater to unsolder this, but I'm going to try and do it just from the top. Let's see, I think we probably can, but we'll find out. For those of you who mentioned Chip Quick, I did some experiments with this. If you go watch through the old videos, Chip Quick versus 60-40 leaded solder. And although the Chip Quick helped a lot with chips, when you get to something that has quite a lot of thermal mass like a connector, it doesn't make any difference. You know, I tried this, I timed it, we were doing actually USB ports, funny enough, on that video. So this is as good a method as any, I think. Okay, so we got quite a bit of solder in there. I'll put it on the metal plate, but I'm going to actually just get the end over hanging a little bit like this. It's raised up enough from the bench. I'm not going to fry the bench. I do is just standing something on top of this just to keep it held down. It'll probably help quite a lot when I come to lift the connector off. Yeah, that'll do the job. That's my reballing jig. It's got a bit of weight in it. It's got a nice flat base just to keep the thing steady. Yeah. Okay, let's have a go. I'm not going to put Captain tape over here. Worst comes to worst, well, there's another one there and they're the same, so if something goes missing I can figure out what it is from this side. But by putting Kapton tape here, I would just actually make it more difficult for myself to get heat into the board. I'm also going to kind of blow the air somewhat in that direction as well. One of these two to lift it off. It depends on how well it's stuck into the board. I'll try with the tweezers first, okay? So hot air on 450, maximum airflow. Just get some general heat into the entire area first. This is why we swirl around with the hot air. And then I'll start to concentrate more on the thing I want to desolder. I'm actually going to, now it's warm, I'm going to add some leaded solder from this side as well, actually, to the sides of this. This would help. And it should go quite well. Now I've got a bit of heat into it. In fact, I'll use a bit of flux. Okay. In fact, I think it's coming a bit loose actually, just adding the heat from the side, but obviously I need to get the whole thing hot enough so it actually desolders the pins as well underneath it. Okay. Okay. Right. Back to hot air. I'll try not to melt this. It looks like an LED. Okay, might as well just clean that up a little bit while it is hot. Okay, so that came off nice and clean. No damage to anything, that's really nice. We can now see that it does in fact have the 2 rows of pins, so I'm going to have to resolder this with hot air. Normally I just use solder from the rear, but you can see in actual fact it looks like, and it does surprise me a little bit, we've got 2 rows of pins like this, like there's more pins than you would expect. I'm not sure. Maybe they are in parallel across if we measure them, but I'm not too sure. But certainly the ones I'm seeing on AliExpress are that type. So I'm going to order the type A and type B, and then I'm pretty sure we'll be able to fix this one. Okay guys, so you can see we have a plan. We're doing quite well with this repair. Sorry it's not going to be finished today, but everything's working out okay. Customer's quite happy with the resolution. I'm quite happy with it. And I'll make some good money off this one. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you all soon on another Weird Electronics repair video. Ciao for now, guys.